Hello, my name is Natalie LaBonte. I'm a career and life purpose coach, feng shui consultant, and heart centered world shifter. I help my clients explore the power and potential within their internal and external worlds by cultivating curiosity and connection so that you can live and lead your most joyful and vibrant life yet. Today, I want to talk about the topic of change. I think it's something that we all encounter in our lives at some point or another. And while we can't absolutely control everything that comes up in our lives, we do have control over how we react. So, before I go any further though, I want you to take a moment and think about how do you normally react to change? Do you tend to go with the flow, or are you slapping on the brakes and saying, no, no, we're not going through this? Um, no matter where you land on the change scale, whether it's you kind of embrace it, you flow with it, or if you really resist it, just know that as humans, we're essentially hardwired to not super love change. In the past, it actually related to your ability to survive. And when we could control, or we try to control the circumstances, that meant we were able to survive. So when change comes up, it always triggers that innate worry of, am I going to survive this? And like I said, some people can flow with it a little bit better and welcome it. I tend to be someone that actually likes change, but I know plenty of people where they find change a little bit more challenging, and that's perfectly fine, which is why I wanted to note, our kind of evolutionary makeup as to what happens with change and where that survival instinct kind of kicks in and where we may encounter that resistance. So once you've had a moment to kind of reflect on that and see, oh, where do I fall on the change scale? I now want to really go over some tools for success because, like I said, it doesn't matter where you are. Change is inevitable. It always will happen at some point or another, whether it's within your career, personal life, relationships, home, the whole shebang, that it happens. So the first step I want to give you, and this is crucial, is trust. Trust in your abilities, your gifts, your talents, your support systems, your friends, your family. And if you're spiritual or religious, trusting in God, source, creator, universe, whatever that is for you, but the ability to trust and have faith both within yourself and just overall with the circumstances that are unfolding, I think is so important because when you can kind of take a step back, and see that, your heart's beating, you are you're alive on this earth. I really do think taking that step back and counting your blessings and knowing I trust myself to get myself through this. I think that's so important. And that especially comes up in times of like within corporations, if there's a drastic change, if there's potentially downsizing or something like that, and maybe you weren't directly impacted, but being able to trust yourself to navigate through that change, or even if you were someone that was directly impacted, knowing that you have the skills and abilities to make yourself or to get yourself through it. So trust, that is the first step. Then the next is a little bit more practical, but you know how I mentioned how there's going to be things that you can't control in your life. Well, what I want you to do is actually you can make a list, get out a sheet of paper, write 3 columns, and I want you to write down what is within your control, what is something that you can influence within the situation, and what is entirely out of your control, you have zero influence over it. And the reason why I think that's so important is because if you're putting your time and energy into the thing that is completely outside of your control, that's a waste. It doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve the situation. It doesn't serve the greater good. So you're much better off to put your energy where you can have some control or that you can influence. So this is an example. Let's say you're in your kitchen and you drop a glass on the floor and it shatters everywhere. So the thing that you don't have any control over is that you already dropped the glass. It happened. You know, you can't undo it. You can't go back in time. So that happened. So fixating on it, that wouldn't be of any use, right? So, what's in your influence? Well, you can ask to make sure no one enters the kitchen. You know, maybe if you're able to move some chairs to kind of block it off, or, you know, if your loved ones are home, you know, just say, don't enter the kitchen. I dropped a glass. I'm going to clean it up. That's something that you can influence, is making sure no one enters the kitchen. And then the thing, of course, that you have the most control over is picking up the glass. That is something you have entire control over. So then you can put your attention and focus on picking up that glass. So the reason why I shared that is I'm hoping that it helps you to make sense of, you know, looking at the things that you can control versus the things that you can, you know, influence, and the things that are totally outside of your control. And hopefully it helps to conceptualize it so that, you know, going forward, you understand, okay, the thing that maybe already happened that I have zero control over, I'm not going to put my worry, anxiety, fear in that, because it's something that I just simply don't have influence over, already happened. And then you can put the time, energy, and effort into the things that you do have influence and control over. So that tip right there, that's a huge one that hopefully is going to be beneficial for all. And then finally, ask yourself, what can I learn from the situation? How can I grow and move forward? So that maybe it is tied to, you know, dropping the glass, or maybe you can understand, oh, I was actually really distracted. But I'm talking about change, like maybe something that's a little bit greater, right? Like I said, maybe it's a relationship ending. Maybe it's your child going off to college. Maybe it could be any number of things. Maybe it's an illness, whether with yourself or within your family. But either way, being willing to look at and say, where can I grow? What learning is there for me? That is so important. So I do hope that you take the time to recognize the power and the beauty that is, and really the gift that is within change, because you can grow tremendously when you go through change. Because like I said, it helps to build that trust. When you've gone through a tremendous change in your past and you made your way through it, that gives you all the reason to trust yourself that you're going to get through this change. So I hope that this has been beneficial for you, you know, especially if you're going through change right now, or you even just feel prepared for when you encounter a change in the future. So thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. I really appreciate it. If you want more, please head over to natalielabonte.com to check out my services, my blog, and see how you can work with me. I also encourage you to follow me on Instagram at nataliejeenlabonte.com. So take care, everyone, and have a great day. Bye.